everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today in this video, I'm gonna answer some of the questions related to norm and distance. Let's get started with this one. For example, in this one is saying find the following norms. So what do you understand by norms? So when you say that find the norms, it also means that you have to find the magnitude. This is another word for norm. So for norm, you can see a word like magnitude. Also, you can see a word like length, or you can see norm. So these are the three words that your professor can ask you, find the magnitude for this one. Then you'll understand, okay, he's trying to mean norm. Length is also norm, the same thing. So how do I find the norm for you, this vector? So I have three components for this vector, 2, 3, 4. Then how do I find the u norm? So to find it, the rule is you square each of the components you have, 2 square plus 3 square plus 4 square, and then you put a square root on all of them, like this. So it's gonna be square root 29. For the second one, I have for v vector, I have 10, 4, 7, 1. So I will do 10 square plus 4 square plus 7 square plus 1 square, and then I will put a square root on all of them. So it's gonna be square root 166. For this one, the same thing. Doesn't matter how many components you have. For this vector, same thing. You're gonna do negative 4 square. You're gonna put a square root and then negative 4 square. Negative 1 square plus 0 square is going to be 0. So negative 5 square plus 3 square is going to get me negative square root 51. So let me plug in and see if I'm right. So one is square root 29. For this one, it's going to be square root 166. And for this one, square root 51. If I check my answer, so it say that all of my answers are correct. So let's move to the next. For this question number 2, what they're asking is, as I mentioned in my first video, for the norm, they can ask you magnitude, length, or norm. So it's the same thing. So don't get confused. So you see this sign where they have like this, 2 of the thing. Like 2 of, before we know that this is absolute value, for this one is normal, we have like 2 of them. So this symbol can also give you an idea that they're asking about the norm, or they can ask you magnitude, or they can ask you norm, or they can ask you length. Don't get confused, it's the same thing. So first I need to find the norm for this one. So what I'm gonna do is square root 6 square plus 16 square. So I'm gonna get square root 292. If I plug it in here, I'm going to plug in later. So now they're asking it, what is the unit vector for V? So how do we find the unit vector? So to find the unit vector, you have to do this. This is the formula that you have to remember to find the unit vector. So it's 1 divided by norm times the vector V. So for each of the components, we have to do that. So I have 6, 16. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to do 1 divided by norm, which is square root 292, times my v, which is 6, my second component is going to be 1 divided by square root 292, the norm, times my vector, which is 16. So this is my unit vector for this one. So you can rewrite this. If you rewrite this, so it's going to be unit vector is going to be, you have to give this vector sign, and then 6 divided by square root 292, 16 divided by square root 292. So you have to remember the formula for unit vector. I'm going to write it down here. Please write it down in your notebook so that you remember whenever you are asked to find the unit vector, you have to do 1 divided by norm, and then you have to times with the vector v for each of the components. So let's put the answers. And so it's gonna be square root 292, and this is gonna be my vector 6 divided by square root 292, comma 16 divided by square root 292, and then my vector. Let me clear my drawing. So let's check the answer now. You can see all my answers are correct. This is how you have to do this type of math. So first I have shown you how to do the norm, how to find a norm, or your professor can ask magnitude or length, the same thing. In this video, I'm showing you how to find the magnitude and also how to find the unit vector.